Gable, Ernie Gable.
Ernie Gable.
And he talked to those boys. And he told them, I guess, how bad it was because it cost the builder a lot of money and they really shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff, you know. And somehow he convinced them. I don't know. They didn't get into any trouble anymore. But kids would go down there. I know my kids and some of the neighbor kids, and they'd call me from there, from the shack. We're down here visiting Ernie. I said, well, you're not supposed to be visiting Ernie. You need to get home because you don't need to bother those people. They're busy. But they didn't seem to mind ever.
What was the name of Huffline's nephew that came in and
Len
with him?
Weber.
Yeah,
Len Weber built across the creek.
Yeah.
Oh, he was the second builder coming
He
in?
built right across the street from me,
Probably
the first
did,
house.
probably did. Yes, he was building some houses. But I want to say,
Well, I mean, he built it and lived in it.
I want to make out a point that you and your lovely wife came to us the first night we were in our house and welcomed us to Morrisdale.
Yeah.
Sam and his wife came and welcomed us.
I think we were the first to move in on Pebble Creek, although somebody challenges that. But I think we were the first to move in, and I believe the light bodies were second.
There was a family named Skelton that when we first moved in, that lived on Pebble Creek, but I never met him.
The Skeltons lived on the, was it your street? Because
Across the street.
they didn't live on Pebble Creek.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't live
No.
on Pebble Creek? Well,
Yeah, he
They
worked.
lived on
I knew they were.
Wood or Tanglewood.
Yeah.
They were there
They were
when
original.
we moved in.
Yeah, they were
So they
original
were
people.
original.
Yeah.
But I
That's
thought
right.
it was Pebble
He
Creek.
worked with me.
Oh, he
Chance
did?
Ford, yes.
Uh-huh.
Is
So
Morrisdale
did
the
Bob
only?
Soul.
Is Morrisdale the only development that Paul Huffines built, or
No.
did he build
No,
more?
he
No,
went to
No,
Trophy Club, didn't he?
he built up that
Wade Drive.
What drive?
He
No, I mean
Trophy Club.
Country Club, the
Trophy Club.
Trophy Club. Yeah,
Okay.
he built.
He was
Well,
a
he
major
built some
builder.
of those
He
houses
started.
Way off the way.
After.
Yeah, Overhill.
Yeah, after,
Oh, like Rankin and...
yeah, after
Rankin,
he
Okay.
after he left here, he moved up and started the Trophy Club development.
Does anybody remember the pig farm?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I sure
You
do.
could smell the
Well, the wind got out of the
Well,
northeast,
northeast, no, man.
Where was the pig farm?
up where they built that little office center at Forest Ridge and Pipeline.
Forest Ridge, right to the left.
All back in there was a big hog farm.
Well, it was right
A
on
couple of
Pipeline.
brothers
Yeah.
had it. Came right up to this creek, I
And when the
think.
wind drifted in the right direction, you got it.
I don't know whether it went that
Pretty
far or
close.
not, but,
But I want you to know there was a tremendous odor when the wind came.
Whoa.
we hated to get a nor'easter.
Well, somebody should have talked Paul into buying that property too. Yeah.
There's one thing that I mentioned to you,
I think
Buddy,
it's
not
last
long
after
ago.
I'm
When we first moved in, most of us were younger people with growing, small children, like ours grew up in Morrisdale. And it was common to see football in the street and bikes everywhere and kids playing in the yards.
Kids walked to school.
And
Rode
when
your
I walk
bicycle
the
to
neighborhood
school.
now for my aerobics, it strikes me as kind of sad that I don't ever see, I know children live in the neighborhood, but I never see a child.
Never see them
And the
outside.
time, and I'm sure it's because times have changed.
Now they're on a
Yeah.
computer.
Computers and TVs and.
Yeah.
We didn't even have fences.
Yeah.
I mean, our backyard was,
Still don't.
and they were open, and the kids were running and playing and building tree houses in the woods and
Oh, yeah.
planting peach. My son planted
Well,
a
it was
peach
nothing
orchard
for about
in the
4 or 5
woods.
years east of Pebble Creek. Pebble Creek, and then it was open land, and so there was camping and fires burning from time to time.
Yeah.
Kids
There
playing
was a
in the
tank
town,
there, a hurting
getting
tank that the
crawdads.
kids used to go in.
That's right.
I remember back when we were living in the house, they hadn't even started anything across the street from me. And in the morning, I would wake up and have the sun shining out of the east and stand in front of that picture window. And I just took my breath away. I mean, you get how much higher Woodridge is from Pebble Creek, and then, I mean, I looked way down like that.
Well,
And it-
we used to park up here on Woodridge and watch the fireworks in Arlington.
Well, we used to go to Sandy's
We can
Hill
still-
there and watch the
High
fireworks.
Point, no doubt.
Right.
You know, in my yard, you could sit outside in there, and you see the firework, you see the light from the ragers, you see everything.
Can I tell a story about the barbecue pit? Did you hear
You
that
can tell
story?
any story you like.
Okay, let me tell you the story. There was the gentleman, let me say, make one point here, is that one of the reasons why the houses did not cost too much here compared to Dallas and Fort Worth, there isn't one erg of energy of union labor in these houses. Paul finds that individual, independent contracting people. He had a wonderful man by the name of Shockley, who was his bricklayer, who had his bricklayer crew.
Ton Gates with the carpenter.
Pardon?
Ton Gates with the carpenter.
Okay, that's the name. Mr. Shockley was a man, I thought he was, in advanced years, he was probably in his early 60s. And he had been an artisan with brick. And his crew was younger people. But anyway, he put brick in the house in the way I wanted, and I wanted the top tier to be sticking out. He said, okay, we'll do that. And then I asked him to build a barbecue pit in the backyard. Wonderful barbecue pit. Showed him what I wanted, what have you. And he said to me, he said, I'm going to build that barbecue pit, but I'll bet you never light a fire in the barbecue. And I'll tell you, Mr. Shockley was dead right. I never lit the first, and it was a marvelous barbecue pit. It was the Taj Mahal of barbecue pits. I mean, this thing was magnificent.
Didn't have the heart to dirty it.
And I never turned, and my children would say, when are we going to have a barbecue? And I say, it was mañana, next week, the week after. And finally, this went into years, and finally everybody in the family gave up even asking about a fire back in the barbecue pit. And the reason today you don't see that barbecue pit is my wonderful wife finally said across to me, it was a monument to my stupidity. So we took the barbecue
Well, I'll
pit
tell
out.
you what he did for us. We had our fireplace on their back wall next to our patio. And so I got the idea. Fireplace chimney. Build a barbecue right there on the patio using the chimney from the fireplace. And I talked to him about, we'll do that for you.
That was probably wise. Now, I couldn't do that because I put the fireplace interior, which was a big headache to them. I've got a fireplace in the middle of my house.
But we used that that barbecue
I'm sure you did.
for us.
I never lived.
Because it right out the door on the patio, and the smoke went up the chimney. Worked out really good.
Our fireplace was the best drawing fireplace. We never had any creosote. We didn't have to have chimney sweeps.
We didn't even.
It was just, he really did a good job with
Yes,
they were
Mr. Shockley knew how to build.
not bricks,
Chimney.
but
It was marvelous brick, marvelous brick.
he didn't use brick, he used
And those
stone
bricks
in
was,
ours.
We have stone.
they're much heavier than brick.
Oh, yeah. They're
They
bigger,
weigh almost
bigger.
10 pounds of
Yeah.
brick.
No holes in them.
They came from Thurber, Texas,
Yeah.
in the kilns out at Thurber, Texas.
Strong, Thurber. That's where the bricks came from.
Well, I'd like to ask some of the ladies in our panel, did they have the modern day appliances in your new homes? Was that offered, for the 60s? Was that something that impressed you with the homes, on appliances and the newer technology?